My name is Agustin Cortes. I'm 19 years old, and I spread awareness about awareness. I'm excited for this podcast, spreading knowledge, spreading awareness any way I can. And I'm eager to actually sit down with some like-minded individuals. It's actually pretty rare to come across, unfortunately, but I'm telling you guys, this shit is going to be pretty fucking crazy.
So you guys are now tuned in to World Radio. My name is Ant G. I'm here with Jay Supreme.
Hey, what's going on?
We're in the HQ. We back again.
Gold mine.
Dope set.
Yeah. So we got the setup, we got the lights, we got the camera.
Yeah.
Now it's all about the action. Today we'll be talking about self-awareness. We'll mainly be talking about Augustin's whole campaign, and we're gonna try to go into like some school systems and how we feel about them.
Fuck school! Fuck all this bullshit! What the fuck?
And honestly, we'll just see where we go from there.
Go with the flow.
Yeah, so we're just gonna go with the flow with this one, make it real genuine. Thank you guys for tuning in. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also follow us on SoundCloud, Twitter. We do not have a Facebook.
Yeah, we got an Instagram.
We got Instagram. So yeah.
Moco Space. We got one of those.
Moco Space, MySpace. So tune in.
That's right.
So self-awareness.
Right.
All right. Self-awareness is one's conscious,
Of themselves.
of the character, their desires, their motives. I feel like there's a fourth one, but I'm forgetting. But what it basically is to be self-aware.
Literally.
Yeah, literally. So tell us about your campaign, man.
Alright, so like I said in the beginning, I spread awareness about awareness because, well, think about it. If you go around, you introduce yourself to someone, have a conversation with them, you can analyze them and you can right off the bat tell if they're self-aware. Like when I met you guys, I'm like, okay, these guys are self-aware. But
Cool.
ask someone right off the bat, like, are you self-aware? And for the most part, they're like, what do you mean? Like, am I really? And then some might say yes, but that's their excessive self-regard. That's like their own ego telling them. And I feel that self-awareness is so key, yet it is a fairly difficult thing to obtain. And it just takes time and time and time. And I would say like one of the core things to find out what you're self-aware at is exposure. Go out, take action, and then see how something makes you feel. That type of exposure makes you feel, because there's like really no way for you to find out. And then you can be self-aware of like the stuff you like. And for example, like we like Gary Vaynerchuk, we like Ty.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, I'm self-aware. I like their information. But then I go out and do what they're doing, and I don't feel the same level of fulfillment. Like my self-awareness is not there. My self-awareness is completely different from anyone else's. And that's like a huge part of self-awareness, is just realizing that nobody is gonna think like you no matter what. Nobody. Like your best friends, like you guys are gonna have the same mentality, but the way you literally perceive information
It's gonna be different.
Yeah. Like I always think about that. Like me and Anthony can be looking at the same thing, but see two different, completely different things.
Like it's kind of like I don't know if you guys would ever trip out. Like for example, this color, like black. Like I see it as black, but what if you see it as green?
Yeah.
Like, there's really like no way to get that empirical knowledge, like that knowledge from experience. Like I can't put my brain in your brain and see it.
And see. Wow, yeah, no, it's definitely a trip, man.
Yes.
And so it comes down to everyone has their own mind, literally, their own brain, and it works maybe in similar ways, but it's still different.
Right.
And
it's
then
like
it
the
comes
little
down.
niches and like little details.
Yeah.
That separate people.
Yeah, it's like
Comes down to perspective.
great minds think alike. That quote exists for a reason. But then those great minds literally understand that they think in a completely unique way. And I feel that, I'm not trying to bash, but it's just kind of what I see in my observation. And let me just address that. I'm not like trying to say I'm the most aware person you'll ever meet. But I am saying like, okay, I've changed my mindset. I see things differently. So,
mind you, we're still young as fuck.
Exactly. We're babies in this world, but we just put a lot of hours in, and as you get hours, you see results. But I was saying that the social tendency, the social herd around us, like Twitter, Instagram, like that literally kills your self-awareness because your brain sees like a reward, like oh, this guy's living successful, let me try to live up to that level. And by you doing so, you're actually not going to live to your full potential. You're not going to live to your self-fulfillment.
To your own self-fulfillment, to your own best potential.
Yeah.
I feel like people try to imitate other successes.
That's what social media is like.
So you think social media is like a clutter?
Social media is like, it's a double-edged sword. Like, if you go in social media,
I feel it.
like, you gotta go in with a smart eye, because you can fall in for the trap. You can fall in for, like, dude, Twitter, Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, Jack Dorsey. These guys are billionaires. Okay, the way billionaires think, like, we can literally not imagine how they perceive information.
Wow.
And they do so much with our subconscious. Like Facebook. I don't really use Facebook because it's a trap. But Twitter, like, what's on your mind? What's going on? Why? Because they want us to talk. Okay. They want us to, like, express ourselves, and then that gives us excessive self-regard, and then, like, people literally feel that, oh, I gotta tweet this, I gotta put this on my story, yada yada yada.
I gotta talk about my problems via social media.
Yeah. But like I said, the double-edged sword. If you use, you guys are using social media as a tool. Like, you guys are branding yourself. You guys are trying to, like, we're trying to come up on social media using it. Because it is a big advantage. Think about it.
Okay.
The ability to access, like, everybody in the world possibly that has one.
So do you think? All right. So say we do those both sides.
Right.
Where you use social media as a tool and you use social media as whatever. You know, it's just something you go on and use. We have those two sides.
Right.
Do you think what separates people from using it as a tool and using just like as an app to is the separation self-awareness?
Literally, man. That's the one word, awareness.
Awareness. Okay.
That's why I'm so passionate. Like, trust me, like, once you become aware, you, like, do, like, that little light bulb comes on your head, you just perceive everything differently, man.
That's crazy. Like, you can just have, like, one simple conversation with you, and you can change the whole mentality of someone. Like, I will never look at Twitter the same anymore after this conversation.
That's good. That's, like, spreading awareness any way you can.
Exactly.
And think about it, like,
go ahead.
Just think about, like, how if everyone, now I'm not saying it, like I said, nobody's gonna think the same, but if everyone was, like, kind of aware of, like perceiving information in this manner,
we can all move together and we can all build, and we all. That's what great minds think, like you said.
Together,
they understand, like,
synergy.
they understand the game.
Yeah. So for people out there that, you know, are kind of confused about self-awareness kind of, you know, it's the cliche of being woke, right?
Yeah, like, it's people are like, oh, you're, like, woke, it's
you're
cheesy,
woke.
but dude, honestly, when people, dude, I've been called, like, wannabe philosopher, like, oh, you're so woke, like, personally, I'm like, that's a pretty good compliment.
Yeah, no, for sure, bro. I'd rather be woke than not woke.
Be,
Okay, cool. So explain to us your personal journey with, like, self-awareness. So when do you think you became self-aware? Because before you answer that, keep that in mind. When do you think you became self-aware? Because personally, I feel like I've always, like, known, but I didn't become conscious of self-awareness till I was, like, 17. That's when I really started pushing, and, like, oh shit, like, there's two sides to this. So when do you
put it down beautiful. Like as a kid, right? We all go to different exposures, and let's not forget about genetics. Like, that has a big part of it. But as a kid, like, the stuff that happens to your way, like, kind of shapes you. And like you said, I kind of always knew. Yeah. But then, like, something happens throughout your life that, like, okay, like, it makes you snap. And personally, like, I knew as a kid, like, okay, I kind of think differently. But then what happened in my life was talking about earlier, Thai 67 Steps. It's an online program.
Ty Lopez.
Yeah, Ty Lopez, the Here in My Garage guy.
Here in my garage, just bought this new Lamborghini here.
Like, just listen to his old content unbiasedly, and this guy's a true genius. I mean, he's a millionaire for a reason. Like, he's the reason he can afford Google ads, like, for every fucking YouTube video.
The reason you see him on every fucking YouTube video.
It's for a reason. And he's the one that taught me about the quote, to get what you want, you have to deserve what you want. The world is not yet crazy enough place to reward a whole bunch of undeserving people. And I did that program, and I was like, boom, like, okay, I just gained awareness. And then I was like, shit, I need to freaking tell people about this. And that's what made me do email marketing. Like it's called an affiliate. Now, for example, Thai 67 Steps, I became an affiliate. So like, for example, if I sent a link to you,
Yeah.
like, and you bought it, I would get commission.
Oh, okay.
So that's how I started my digital journey. About like, that's why like digital money. Digital money is the best money you ever touch. But I was like, okay, this program, and I was like, everyone's gonna get this. That's what I thought. I'm like, okay, this is gold. This is golden information.
Yeah.
And then, cause at first I was like, dude, this is like a secret weapon. I don't want people to know about this.
Okay.
You know, like I told my close friends, but like, okay, like, but then I started going out, and I was like, you guys gotta try this. I was on my Twitter, like, check this out, check this out.
Check out this drug I got.
I felt like that. But then people, this is when I saw that you can literally present gold to people, and they won't take it, bro. They won't take it.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's so true.
You know what I mean?
Bro,
I know exactly what you mean.
People won't
bro.
act upon it either. Like, it's
I know
just wild.
exactly what you mean.
You know
bro.
why? Because they're unaware. Damn. This is
Wow.
crazy.
Mic
bro.
drop. That's the shit.
Podcast drops.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Shit.
That's wild. Hey, do you think like everybody that's like popping right now, like on YouTube, social media, you think they all deserve it though?
There's a fine. All right, this is
Like
also watch. It's just that the world is so big, and like you have so much access to the information out there. I agree that like maybe some people that are famous don't necessarily deserve like Cash Me Outside girl. Like I don't know what she does.
Okay.
But in truth, she's entertaining. She got a lot of attention. Like with our
she
business
she
motto.
does a purpose.
Yeah, our business motto is where the eyeballs go, money will flow. Well, this girl has all the freaking eyeballs, so the money's flowing through, and people are taking advantage of that. But like you said, do they deserve it? It's just kind of maybe not. But don't let this fool you, because out of those famous 100 people that you see, there's 10 million unsuccessful famous people. We just see the famous ones. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel you. That's where like I was leaning towards as well. Like she does deserve. She has a purpose in the entertainment.
Right.
People like clown on her, but by them doing that, like that's where your eyeballs are.
Yeah. Bad PR is still PR.
Yeah.
So, do you think people that are famous, are successful, have a certain self-awareness to them?
I think so. Like these big vloggers, these guys, like they're just famous. Like they kind of didn't get famous on accident, to say. Like the people that are blowing up right now, like Jake Paul, Logan Paul, PewDiePie, or whatever. Like they put in a lot of work. Like these guys have been vlogging since like they were 10 years old.
Yeah.
It just takes time. You know, maybe this one video will make you go viral, make you go famous. But I'm pretty sure there was 100 attempts before that. A lot of that.
Yeah.
You just gotta put in the raw
work.
And like you said, the famous people that like luckily made it, we can't even compare to them. Like just like flop them off. Don't even pay attention to them, because that's like the chances of that happening.
Yeah, it's slim to none.
Yeah,
Slim
it's
to
almost as fucking like insane as being born.
Oh yeah, like that.
Yeah.
That we're human beings.
Okay.
We're live thinking, conscious, fucking human beings. It's wild.
We're able to communicate. Like,
So does self-awareness, is it also linked to purpose, to having purpose?
this is what I talk about my program. Oh, I didn't really mention that. I made my own program because I was like, I got awareness about awareness, right? That's what my program is. It's called AweWair. I spelled it AWEWAIR because I couldn't buy the domain aware. That was like 20 grand, but I was like, I gotta work with what I got. And once you're aware, you don't think black and white. You're like, it's still pronounced aware.
Yeah.
So
they're like, this is my shit.
exactly. So when I made that's the second module in my program, self-awareness. Like know thyself. Like Plato, Aristotle. These people were big about self-awareness, like thousands of years back. And when I talk about in my program is that it's just personal. Like you are gonna have to analyze yourself, and then based off that, you're gonna find your purpose.
Okay.
But then, like how we said in the beginning, like you gotta think for yourself. So nobody's gonna tell you your purpose. And this is where a lot of people like they get it wrong. Like they're like, oh, my parents told me to be a doctor. I'm gonna be a doctor. Oh, I'm gonna be an accountant for the money. Dude, if you're doing it for the money, you're doing it wrong. Like you're gonna live your life.
Yeah. It's not gonna be. It's not gonna be purposeful.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, well, okay. Like now that we're diving into that, I have a question. So, I ran a Twitter poll.
Right.
days ago.
Hey, Twitter polls are a huge tool.
They're huge, right?
You'll be surprised how people are
Huge.
sleeping on that.
They're very huge. Huge wall.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be
It's
great.
gonna be great. So, destiny versus creating yourself. Do you think? Because there's some people, bro, that think like,
I was just born for this, or
yeah, I was born for
and then
this.
like, oh, I was like, I made myself for this.
And there's some people that are just like,
Right.
no, I made myself.
Right.
I took the steps to become what I am. Some people are like, nah, it's destined. It's
Right.
written already.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
in the books. You'll
Mhm.
get there. Just keep living life.
Yeah.
Which one do you lean towards?
It's both, man. Because based off your self-awareness, like the world is
Both.
so hard, it's so competitive that for you to make it at the top, like you gotta be good at what you're doing. And this is where self-awareness comes. Like you gotta be self-aware of what naturally comes to you. Like what are you good at naturally? Everyone has that. Like maybe you're more
Okay.
introvert, so you're not gonna try to be the most extrovert person. You're not gonna be trying to be like become famous. And then you build a path off that. Like you make first, like let's say your destiny was to be like behind the scenes guy, and then you make yourself the best behind the scenes guy available. You see how it works?
Okay.
You
So
think
make
like
yourself
people-
the best director.
You think people
Ever.
like kind of neglect their self-awareness to be like, I don't want to be behind the scenes. I want to be in front of the
Yep.
camera.
And
But-
unfortunately, like you just gotta.
Is that the
accept
ego
truth.
talking?
That's
That could probably be the ego talking.
it's called the excessive self-regard, and that's a cognitive bias, like our subconscious talking for ourselves. And what happens is that your brain lies to itself all the time. All the time, your brain lies to yourself.
Mm.
Like probably, I would say at least over 200 times a day.
So
I'm glowballing that too.
that's crazy.
I'm being generous.
200
on that
times a day. So in that book, The Power of Now, it says, you know,
Right.
you have your mind, and then you have your
Your like your
subconscious-
spiritual world.
your spiritual world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
That book like enlightened me a lot.
yeah, same here.
Mhm.
So do you think? Well, what he's saying is like you gotta quiet the mind. Do you think that's where most of the problems lie, or like?
it's not necessarily quieting the mind, because that's more like meditation. Meditation is like the form of mindfulness that you're just like you're present, right? Like presence is like is kind of like happiness.
Okay.
But the way that we fail is because we're unaware. The stuff we don't know is what kills us. Like I didn't know that I was meant for behind the scenes, and I spent all my life trying to be out in camera.
in the scene.
Therefore, I literally killed my time. Like I wasted my time, and you know, time is the only thing you'll never get back in this universe. So.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Like I tell, like the more you know, the more you learn, and not just financially. When I tell people that, they're like, "Oh, you're like I don't want to be rich or whatever." I'm like, this not just apply to money. Like
Yeah.
all areas of your life, your happiness,
Yeah.
your health, your social EQ, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, building relationships,
Crazy.
all of that. So you mentioned something about genetics earlier.
Right.
Talk more about that. Like,
All right.
what
I don't have no PhD. I don't have like genetics is one of my few areas that I'm just like I read like a little bit. But I can't tell you about how genetically we're modified to be social. Like we're social ants. We're like little ants, man. Like think about it. The only way humans became omnipresent, like the freaking god of this world, is because we're able to communicate.
Our
work
ability
together.
to create groups.
Yeah, bro. Because
Yeah.
if we're not able to work together, we would be dead. Like because we're like our natural
Yeah.
is not meant
We
to
wouldn't
fight
be-
a bear or that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
we wouldn't be able to survive.
So we're hardwired in our genetics and our DNA to be social, and then when you go on social media and you're not aware of this, you're like, oh, I'm putting all my time on social media and not knowing that I'm falling for Jack Dorsey's, the CEO of Twitter's plan. That's why social like media is so powerful. Facebook, like it's one of the most powerful meanings because it's so social. Like,
Oh shit.
and then Apple,
Okay.
look at Apple. Apple's a brand. Apple like became a social thing. Like if you have an iPhone, it's like you have the Ferrari. Like the Apple's the Ferrari of the car.
Not only that, you keep the case
Yeah, it's the Ferrari
of the
phone.
iPhone.
Yeah, like some
I
people-
have it. Like I have the iPhone 7 Plus. Like I still keep the case. I put like little
Yeah,
coins
the
and
little
shit.
box top.
Yeah.
Dude, did you know that Apple literally hired people and put them in a room to find the best way to unpackage a box? I don't. This is the stuff that billionaire,
Oh,
like
this
billion
guy.
dollar companies, like that's the stuff they do, man. So the stuff we don't know, we don't know.
That is crazy.
Steve Jobs, man. Shout out
Yeah,
Steve
shout out
Jobs.
Steve Jobs because he changed. He left his dent in the universe, and that was his mission.
Damn.
I'm just thinking of Bill Burr and how he bashed fucking Steve Jobs. My bad.
In a skit or what?
No, he has like pretty much a whole skit.
Of just bashing.
Well, he was like
Big
clowning
class.
on him. Well, he's a comedian.
Mm.
But anyway,
You know,
Yeah.
Apple literally makes so much money off the iPhone. It's kind of ridiculous. Like that's why they're so rich. Like it costs them like $20 to make the iPhone.
No way.
So-
Well, I'm lowball on that. I'm like maybe 50, maybe 100, but they're selling it for 700. Why? Because the profit. It's called the profit margin. Is like they got the first iPhone cost like $1 million, right? The software, the hardware, all that kind of stuff. But then Apple became powerful. Like they could buy in bulk, wholesale, and they made it a brand. So now they can sell an iPhone 8 for $1,000, and people will buy no hesitation.
it's you think it's more than like just a product, like it's an actual brand. Like,
Yeah, it's a symbol.
It's the
like
thing
a
to
symbol,
do,
like
like-
an intangible symbol.
Like Ferrari, like
Yeah,
Lamborghini, like.
But it's
Lexus.
still a car. It's still gonna get you from point A to point B. It might
But it's
might
just-
be a little fast, but it's more for the social status. So that's the
Social
power of a
status.
brand. And you know who's gonna take over the world pretty
Who?
soon? Amazon.
Amazon.
It's
You
too-
heard
it's
it
too
here
crazy.
first, folks, on War Radio.
Yeah.
Amazon is
I-
taking over the world.
I said that before they even bought Whole Foods.
No way.
Yeah, they're so powerful.
Boy called it. Damn. Okay. Amazon. Should we work for them? Should we try to get jobs? I don't know.
love
Pretty
Amazon.
crazy.
I love Amazon.
We'll be competing against
Yeah,
Amazon one
should
day.
we compete against them? we come for you.
They'll buy us out.
Damn. They'll buy us out. Fuck. Alright. Well, that was a good intro to self-awareness. I really wanted to talk about... I seen your video recently on Twitter.
Mhm.
I think I seen... It's probably like a similar video or it's the same one, but where you said you had your own conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
I looked at that one, but do you have a similar video to that?
Kind of how the education system.
The education system. Okay.
The scandals.
Cool.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so let's talk about that.
What
So,
was it?
Augustine has his
Scandals?
own conspiracy
Yeah,
theory.
scandals.
Oh.
Education system scandals.
Yeah.
It's kind of not even like a theory. Like you,
Yeah,
if you think about it, it's
yeah.
like-
I was watching your video and I got your explanation from it. But
I just said for clickbait.
yeah. Oh, okay.
Hey, the world. Oh, who did that shit yesterday?
Yeah,
Matt?
one of my friends just did that. She tweeted, "I have a boyfriend" or something like that.
Right.
And then people were kind of like interested in it. And then she went like on a thread like, "Okay, now that I got your attention, tune into this."
That's
I was like,
that's
"Yo,"
marketing.
I
That's
was like, "I'm
smart.
gonna use that."
That's hella funny.
But okay.
Power of social right there.
So what motivated you to for this theory or like to
All right,
put
bro.
that video
It's
out?
just that is the education system. All right, let me kind of give the overview of what I said. Is right. We go to, for the most part, we went to public education system.
Mhm.
All right. So there's three parts. There's capitalism, there's education, and there's politics, and there's biology. So the public education system is formed by the government, and the government, no lies, influenced by these capitalistic billionaires. And let's just say the people at the top biologically made, like the book The Selfish Gene by Dr. David Buss. He just said genetics, we're naturally selfish. It's in our DNA. Like if there's a fire and we had to pick like, for example, our dog versus two dogs that we didn't know, we would pick our dog, no hesitation. Why? Because we're more selfish. So these billionaires are naturally selfish, and they're at the top of the hill. Therefore, they want to stay at the top of the hill, because to get to the top of the hill, you got to be extremely aware. You got to be extremely smart, and if you're extremely smart and aware, you're gonna compete against them, and they don't want that. But they numb us down. They keep us very low with the education of our awareness in this public education system, so we don't even compete against them.
Yeah. You gotta have a bottom. There's a
Yeah,
top.
exactly. Like the people
Trap.
down here work for the people up here,
Mhm.
and there's like 0.01%.
Well, this is a.
But let me
Go
just add up that it's not necessarily like a trap that like you're just in there forever. I mean, we could make it. We could be that 0.101%. We just gotta be extremely aware. And a lot of the disruption comes from the internet. Like you watching this video, maybe this video changes your life forever, and you become autodidact. It's a fancy word for self-education. Like you start reading, and boom, one day you build $1 billion company.
And you gotta
Yeah.
thank
Yeah,
us.
you gotta invite us to your
Yeah.
private jets and your little events going on.
Especially to the pool, because it's starting to get
man,
hot
it's
as hell.
hot.
Yeah. No, okay. So I don't know. You have the answer to this question. This is a question I've always wanted to ask. When do you think the system started?
Ooh, man, this is a long time ago, hundreds of years, like monarchs. Bro, this book I read, it's called Sapiens. I don't know if you're, like, you guys are into reading. That book, like,
Honestly,
you will not view life the same, man. You'll be like, everything's not even trying to be cheesy, like, everything's a fucking social construct. Like, the way I freaking go to school, like, I told my friends, I was like, I was going commando for, like, experiment, like, a week, and they're like, why don't you wear underwear? I'm like, bro, think about it. Underwear is like a capitalistic invention. It's a social construct.
Oh.
Hey, were your boys just like, just fucking wear underwear,
Yeah,
bro?
like,
Damn.
it's comfy. I'm like,
Just
it's
wear
comfy,
underwear.
but like, you see what I mean? Like, it's kind of. And then
It's just
when
something we
bro,
do.
When I
Yeah.
said that, fucking Elon Musk tweeted the same thing a week later.
No
I swear.
way.
And I was like,
Oh.
okay, I'm kind of onto something.
Like, talk about underwear?
Yeah, he literally said underwear is capitalistic invention or something.
He was looking at your Twitter, bro. He was looking at
He's
the
like,
video.
this guy's onto something.
I'm a
He
steal.
emailed me. Well, what was the question though? When was it made?
When did it begin?
I can't tell you exact date, but I can tell you that from the day of monarchs, like kings and like hierarchies, they became aware and like, we can actually fool these people and like make them work for us and literally make them say that. This is, I might get a little bit religious, but it's just that they said, okay, we're kind of made. God chose us to be the ones
God
in
gave
power.
us the power.
Exactly, and then like people were like, oh, don't question it. If you question it, you would even die. I haven't made a video yet, but
It's
what
kinda
we're
like,
we're doing right
with
now,
the Bible?
Yeah.
look, bro, like what we're doing right now, like spreading this awareness. If we did this like a couple 100 years back, we'd be killed. Think about like what
Okay, we're
Galileo,
talking
all
about
these
this,
like
yeah.
these fools.
Once
like,
once
dude,
word started to
wake
get
up.
around, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
fucking science is the answer. Like we're not revolving. We're
Like
not the
witch
center of the
hunts.
universe. And the religion was like, yes, we are. And kill him. Like, you know, maybe we're kind of doing the same thing, but we don't have to die. Like we're not gonna get killed.
Mm-hmm.
We live in a different time.
Yeah.
But to answer that question, it's just been around a very long time, and due to disruption, I'm telling you guys, the internet. I'm not saying that there's gonna be revolution or anything like that, but a lot of disruption is gonna happen. A lot more people are gonna be self-aware. A lot more awareness is gonna be in the world, in the atmosphere.
It's gonna be war,
Revolution.
revolution.
I don't know, man.
So,
Internal revolutions.
Yeah,
I
that's where it starts. Internal revolution. You gotta be right within.
alright, so we have the system set in place.
Right.
We'll date it back to like monarchs and things like that. So the system's in place. So to control people, you control their ways of education,
mentality.
their mentality. Okay, so the system that we have now, schooling wise,
Yeah.
do you think? Well, I mean, do you think it's similar to how it was back then?
Yeah.
Well,
Have you
it's
seen
like
that?
almost
That
the same thing,
that
right?
post that the education system hasn't innovated like literally in the same 100 years. Like a car has changed so much, healthcare, everything else but school. Like
But
it's still the
school,
same.
and it's still
Exact same.
history, English,
You
math,
sit down on a test.
biology.
The way the education system teaches you is like you literally do not think for yourself. Like you gotta raise your hand to go to the restroom. You're told to do this. You got deadlines, and if you fail your test. You're done.
You're being like, you're getting put shit like in your
It's just,
shit's being put in your
and
mind
it just hits
for like
us
an hour, back to back to back.
And
it's like,
yeah, that form of education just progresses subconsciously, right? And this is the stuff we're not even aware of. That like, oh, dude, I was raised this way. I'm gonna live this way now. And that's why when we hit out like on our own journey, maybe after college, maybe after high school, most people are like reluctant to do mistakes because the education system said if you fail a test, you fail. If you fail, you're done. But in reality, like, dude, you're gonna fail no matter what. You just gotta get up
And do it.
be self-aware of what you're doing. It's more than that.
So do you think our educational system that we have in place now doesn't set us up? Well, it sets us up for failure.
But
Not
In a
necessarily
sense.
just failure. Not
yeah, I think so.
One way to put it-
but
is-
also like it doesn't allow you to make mistakes. It doesn't want you to make mistakes.
the way I
It
say
puts
is
in your
the
mind that's
education
bad.
system does not let us live to our potential.
To our potential.
Mhm.
Okay.
But there's those few people that like educate. Like think about it. Like everyone learns differently. Like there's the VAC system, visual, audio, kinesthetic. There's like lots of different ways that we can learn, and the education system's kind of fit for like one size fits all, but it's not necessarily our strength. But then those people that it is their strength, like they actually learn the way the education system makes them, like they prosper, they live. But then another thing is that intelligence is not as important as you think. This was like the biggest hurdle I'd overcome, was that I thought you had to be extremely intelligent to be successful. Which intelligence is important, you can't brush that off, but it's not that important. Like, gotta take risk. Well, that's not correlated to intelligence. Like, being persistent, following your intuition. Like, a lot of stuff is not necessarily correlated to intelligence. Yeah. I was reading the book, The Millionaire Mind, and it just literally said that these millionaires. Now, I'm not saying just because you're a millionaire you're successful, but these fools like no, intelligence. It's important, but it's not the most important thing they said. You know what they said was the most important thing?
Can we guess?
Yeah, guess.
The most important thing for success?
Yeah, that they said.
Imagination.
I was surprised when
drive.
They said it was drive was in the top 10, but they said integrity.
Integrity.
Yeah, just being honest with people. I found that really interesting. I'm like, what? That's good.
That makes sense.
It makes sense, yeah.
We're in a social.
You can't make it on your own, like, and just how the world revolves around us.
So building relationships, building healthy relationships, good relationships.
Being honest with yourself, being honest with other individuals, and like for example, this is now I'm not trying to get too in depth, but this is pretty deep because when you break your integrity, like this kind of question, self-awareness, like everyone knows what they feel is right and what they feel is wrong, and when you do something like manipulative, you break your integrity, you're like lying to yourself, right? You're like breaking yourself, and then you're not being honest with yourself. And this is like not necessarily like karma's gonna get you, like you're gonna destroy yourself. Like it just builds a habit. And then you get to a point. Warren Buffett said, "The chains of habits are often too weak felt until they're too strong to be broken." You retweeted that.
Yeah, I saw that today.
He's like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you break your integrity, you're gonna make it a habit. You're gonna be like unsuccessful. You're gonna be doing shit over and over again. And then when you realize, like, damn, I should change, it's gonna be fairly difficult.
It's gonna be too late. Maybe.
Maybe not too late, but just really hard.
It's gonna be harder. So you also tweeted, when I do good, I feel good. When I do bad, I feel bad.
Yeah, that Abraham Lincoln said that, and like that's my religion.
Yeah, that's so simple, dude. Because
so simple.
It's weird.
You'll find that.
Feel it.
You'll find that all like the most impactful things. They're not complex. They're very simple.
Very simple. Simplicity.
Success, whatever that may be to you, it's not hard. I mean, it's not complex. It's not difficult. But it is hard. Like everyone, it's
hard
like,
work
to obtain that.
Exactly.
Success.
Like the Millionaire Mind, it literally said, millionaires or these people, they just do stuff everyone else knows they should do. Like everyone knows they should read, but most people don't. Everyone knows that they should focus on themselves, but most people don't. And the people that do strive. It's like crazy complex, but it's hard.
Yeah, there's a couple steps that you need to take, and then put in the work and the action. That's kind of like a formula, right?
Yeah.
For success.
Yeah, success is a formula. I heard that by Andy today.
Frizella?
Yeah.
Andy Frizella. Success is a formula.
Andy Frizella's a bad motherfucker.
Yes.
MFC.
Badass guy. How do you feel about schools? I think I already know your answer, but I'm asking you anyway for our viewers. How do you feel about schools and college making us pick one major?
I mean, school never taught us to be self-aware, and then they're forcing us to like pick a major that we're gonna settle for the rest of our lives. But universities are like, before the internet, they were like kind of like the place to go because that's where what knowledge was, man. Like, you know? Now it's kind of more obsolete. It's not that relevant because you can self-educate yourself. It's hard, but it's possible. But I'm talking about the people that are in the STEM careers, doctors. Like you gotta go to school. You just gotta go to school.
Lawyers and shit.
To make it.
Right, like you can't really self-educate yourself in that. But maybe in the future. But yeah, for the most part, you don't really necessarily need to go to college, and it's also a social construct. Like you ask kids. Javi was telling me the other day. Javi was like, you ask a kid, like a 6-year-old, what they want to do when they're older. Like, oh, I'm gonna go to school. Like it became such a powerful social construct from the beginning. Like when we're growing up, that like,
Wow.
I want to go to school. Like, are you sure? Is it the best?
Automatically,
Is it the
yeah.
best thing for you? Maybe not. Maybe not. Like maybe
Yeah.
it is. Maybe it's not. You gotta be self-aware. But it became a construct that like,
Wow.
gotta go to school.
Yeah, I can see that, dude. Recently, I'm running a basketball camp, and recently, I overheard one of the kids saying, this kid's probably like 6 years old, dude, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm going to UCLA." So I could see that social construct.
Yeah, it's just us like schools is like a lot of brand, a lot of lollapalooza. Ooh, let me tell you this interesting fact, bro. This is back in the day, like the medieval times. Okay.
Okay.
This is when. Oh, this is. Oh, you asked me this. I can't believe.
Yeah. What's the Go
No.
into the.
I'll get into it right now. You asked me what started the education system. It was during the medieval times. The people think about this. You gotta go in, like, use your imagination cap right now. Back in the day,
Brainstorm.
100 years ago, people were savages. Books were rare. You know, nobody could read. The printing press wasn't invented. Knowledge was rare. Moral, ethical principles. Like, naturally, we're like meant to be savages. So a lot of people were running chaotically, you know, stealing, causing a lot of chaos, except like for the monarchs. So they're like, all right, what can we do to stop this? And like, boom, set them mandatory, make them go to the school, the education system, and then but at the time it was correlated with religion, not anymore, but it was the time where people are crazy, like, wow. And I'm not saying it was bad, like this, maybe it was a good thing that they did this, but they sent everyone to this institutions of people, like education, and this is called the authority bias, which added up to the lollapalooza effect. Like people, the very first schools, they had guard towers facing inward. And like, have you ever been like, I don't know how you guys feel, but when you guys see like tall buildings, like you just naturally feel smaller, like you're like, okay,
Yeah,
this
for
is
sure.
authority, and it's like the subconscious mind talking to us. And these schools had that. They had like the threats, like they had so much going on that the people in the school, like they just became sheep to what was being said, and that's why like everyone became Catholic if they went to a Catholic school, and so on and so on.
Oh wow.
I mean that when I heard that, I was like, fuck.
Yeah. So that's just the beginning
And then
of
just
social
progressed over and over and over.
constructs. Yeah. Fuck.
It's gotta be perfectly well. Sheep.
Yeah,
Sheep.
The sheep
Sheep.
mentality.
Comes down to being aware.
Exactly. Like,
Comes down to
am I a
awareness.
sheep or not? Don't lie to yourself.
Yeah.
Or the Lollapalooza effect.
Yeah, that's what is like. You been talking about it, and like I've heard of the festival, but
Oh, yeah.
Other than that,
yeah, other than that, I
Yeah.
really don't. But
It's
so,
when
Lollapalooza effect.
cognitive biases, like this is my advanced program. Like aware is like you become aware about being aware. Like you see like a lot of areas of your life.
like that's that step. That's the
Mhm.
first initial step.
Yeah, first
Okay.
like you gotta be aware to understand the Lollapalooza effect, the
Mhm.
cognitive biases. So, Lollapalooza effect. Okay, for example, this water bottle. Okay, this water bottle has the reward bias because when you're thirsty, you drink water. It makes your brain feel good. You release dopamine, all those hormones, so you're feeling good, right? Another cognitive bias. That's the first one, by far one of the most powerful. Reward bias. Like if people
Reward
watching this
bias.
right now, reward because like they're getting information, like they're releasing dopamine, learning something new. So that water bottle has reward bias. It also has authority. The authority bias is like it just has credibility, has respect. We respect it. Another way of authority that happens subconsciously is something taller than us or like above. Like we look to God is always above us. The CEO has the top. The mansions on the hills. Authority. Okay, and then like even that kind of stuff. Like we can like it's not important. It is important. So that water bottle has authority because it's a brand. Arrowhead. Everyone knows Arrowhead. What else? Arrowhead. Like the water bottle is a little bit more difficult. Like you can be like, actually, the perfect example
What about
is
fast food?
an auction. Oh, fast food is really powerful. Let me give you a auction because that one has like 7 I can name. Reward. You're at an auction because you're there to buy something, right? You're not just at an auction to kill time. Like when you go to an auction, you can get something, maybe classic car, whatever. So you're there for a reward. There's the urgency bias. Like your brain can't think well when it's under stress. And what the people at the auction, like going once, going twice, like they talk super fast.
Yeah.
They're creating stress in
Before
your
you're
mind.
like, fuck.
Yeah,
fuck.
exactly. So that's the second bias, and there's the social herd bias. Like you see monkey do. You see that everyone's like competing, and you're competitive as well. And like someone made $10, you're gonna place 12, and like that's the social herd bias. There's 3 already. We got the authority bias because the preacher or whatever is on a stand on the podium above everyone else. It's like,
It's
oh,
like
okay.
a nice white robe, gloves,
Like he's chilling.
gold.
And then there's the availability bias. That is like, if it's available, like your brain's like, oh, I want it now, because back. And understand these biases come from evolution, like thousands of years ago, and they just stayed in our head. So we got what? Reward, authority, social, urgency, availability. Like the prize, they put the prize that like they're auctioning right in front of everyone. Like for example, if it's a nice car, they're modeling like, oh, I can get this right now if I just pay a certain amount of money. And then I just named 5. I got to a point where I named 8, but when you get more than 3, you create the lollapalooza effect. And the lollapalooza effect is when there's cognitive biases coming together and literally making your brain the sucker. Like if you go to it, like billionaires, Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger, they say they never go to an auction because they know the lollapalooza effect. They're like, if we go to an auction, we know we're gonna buy something we don't need, so they don't go. And the lollapalooza effect is so powerful that it just gonna make you a loser no matter. Like you're gonna succumb to what they want you to.
Sounds like a warp. Like a tornado.
It's in the mind. Is that a good way to put it?
Yeah. So, is the Lollapalooza effect, like, is that in materialistic things?
It's like
It's
like everything, authority, like people. Like when you meet someone famous, they have the authority bias. They have this reward bias. Like everything in life. Fast food, like you asked, fast food that has availability, urgency, reward. Like it has a lot of these biases. McDonald's is a brand. Like there's so much out there that.
It's all good. It's all good.
But yeah, man, like that's the stuff we don't know.
Okay. Stuff we don't know. We don't know. Shit.
Yeah.
Alright. Just a quick little fun question. So karma. You talked about it earlier. Do you believe in karma?
I believe. I'm not religious, but I believe that there is something out there greater than us. And just believing in that, like actually, like
Motivates?
It makes you happier. Like there's scientifically proven that if you kind of like just view yourself like omnipresent, like the God, like you kind of live like a plateau life. But when you believe like there's something bigger, like you got like a, it's not like a, you don't plateau. Okay. So I believe in karma. I believe that the universe just works in cosmetic ways that we can't see, like vibes. You know,
energy,
like not cheesy stuff. Like you can feel vibes and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But we can't see that stuff, and I believe that what you put in, what you put out, the world puts in.
The law of attraction.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
What I also like about karma is like, there's some shit that is obviously like out of your control.
Yeah.
That kind of gives you some sort of relief. It does for me. Like I can't control everything, but I do my best.
That's
with what I can.
The serenity prayer. Now I'm not religious, but the serenity prayer is like, Lord, give me the wisdom to know what I cannot change, and give me the strength to accept what I cannot change. Like I forgot exactly.
Like that. We'll quote it out here. Right at the bottom.
We'll leave it in the description.
Link in bio. Always plug.
Okay. It's karma. Yes. Check. Law of attraction. Check.
To a certain extent, I believe people like, oh, law of attraction. I'm gonna think positive thoughts 24/7. Nothing's bad's gonna happen. Like, I mean, it's a cold world,
Cold
world. No blankets. Crazy out there.
Okay.
But yeah, like you need more than positive thinking.
Yeah, and then that's Buddhism. Like it's the happy. Like to see the good, you gotta go through the bad. You think about it.
Yeah.
It's like
balance is key.
Balance is key.
Neutrality. That's what Buddhism is like. Peace, state of nirvana is like Zen.
To appreciate the good, you gotta go through the bad. You gotta see what it's
Get
like.
that mental contrast.
So when we're talking about success, maybe we can end with this. When we're talking about success, is our perception of success shaped differently because of our environment than, say, a Buddhist, someone that's living on a mountain? Is their perception of success differently? Or do they also look at us and be like, no, that's successful. The American dream is successful. Or is there some people that are content with simplicity, and that's true success to them?
Back to that the first thing we were talking about, man, self-awareness. Like, my form of success is completely different from the viewer, from you. Like, everyone can be successful in their own way. It's like there's no right and wrong. That's the main thing about this world. You realize, you become aware, you realize that there's very, very few things that are black and white, except math. Math is the language of the universe.
Yeah.
Physics, that kind of stuff. But in this little world that we have in our own head, there's two worlds, bro. There's the world inside our head, like our mental world, and then there's the black and white world, like the world of physics. Like, if I fall,
Physical
gravity
world.
will always hit. If I throw this up, whatever's gonna happen.
Reality.
Physics. But we all have our own world. Like, your world is different from mine. Everyone's different, and what we captivate based off our self-awareness, we can dictate what is success and what is not. So there's no right and wrong. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Its own perspective.
Some people are materialistically driven. That's fine. And some people, they'll be living the mountain.
That's kind of what we got to. Me and Josh were having this conversation 2 days ago, actually, when we were thinking of what we're going to talk about on this podcast. And we kind of got down to, like, you can't really judge somebody because their journey is completely different than yours. And we got to that point where I was like, what is success to you? And his definition of success was way different than my definition of success. And I feel like that's universal.
It is universal.
So yeah, like you're saying, everyone has their own definition of success. So but yeah, we're getting to, like, you can't really judge somebody, and I feel like that's something I used to
that's
do.
a huge, that's a huge step of higher consciousness, is you literally don't judge people, you perceive. Like, if someone treats you bad, you don't, like, what the hell, I'm gonna retaliate, I'm gonna get them back. You, like, why did they do this to me? Like, you don't blame them. Like, you just, like, maybe they had a bad day. Maybe
you try to
they're
understand.
Exactly.
Compassion.
That's crazy, bro.
Compassion.
That's a whole other way of thinking, though. Like,
yeah.
It's complicated. It's hard. Like, I'm reading a book called Willpower right now, and it's like literally every thought, everything you do, like, depletes your willpower, and thinking in that manner it's just hard on your willpower.
You think it's just like wasting energy?
That's like depleting willpower. But no, if you think in that manner, that is like a higher state of consciousness.
Oh,
like awareness.
okay.
But it's fairly difficult, man.
Cool, man. Well, I'm glad that we're at with self-awareness.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me, man. This is great.
Yeah, so to our viewers out there, tune in to
How long did we go for?
to our podcast. I feel like we've gone for
It's 9:50.
51 minutes.
It felt like 5 minutes.
I don't know, right?
That's
Good.
good.
Oh, that's one
Do
of
we
my
have
favorite things.
do we have something left that we could talk about? Something that you want to touch on?
If I could just say, like, the last words to the
Go ahead,
viewers,
man.
is
Go
just,
ahead.
Be aware about being aware, and understand that we touched up on such, like, really personal stuff. Like,
Yeah.
it's gonna be personal, your self-awareness, but the best thing I can tell you is just think for yourself, be aware, and, like, just seek your own purposeful journey. It's not complex, but it is gonna be hard.
Yeah. It is.
And not everyone is gonna get this. Some people are gonna be like he's crazy, whatever. We're not talking to those people. We're talking to the people that can literally understand what we're saying. And you'll be, like you said, we're surprised how very few people those are.
Yeah.
And I hope you're one of those people.
Yeah. And feel free to reach out.
Yeah.
Feel free to reach out to the War Crew, or even to Agustin
follow
and
me.
his crew.
Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, all same handle at TINTUHD, Tintud. And yeah, always plug, but
I always plug. Yeah, we got a lot of good things going. A lot of good people around us. A lot of positive environments.
Yeah, we didn't talk about environment, but environment is
It's
Well, let's go.
Damn it.
Let's go.
Key.
Let's go on environment.
Can we?
yeah,
Let's
why
do it.
not?
Let's do it.
All right.
We just said bye to everyone.
I know, right?
Alright.
Well,
We'll do a part 2 in
Yeah,
there. We'll do a part 2 another day. Keep them hooked. You know?
Okay.
Curiosity bias. That's another subconscious bias.
Let's do it.
All right.
All right. Well, this is War Radio signing off. My name is Ant G. I'm here with Jay Supreme, and we got Agustin Cortes. So thank you all for tuning in. Follow our social medias. We out.
Until the next time.
Peace.
Peace.
Cool.
Puta.
Environments. We gotta talk about environments, man.
People sleep on that one hard.